Hello. Welcome to the Banter Sports. We have our two finalists for the IPL 2024. Sunrisers Hyderabad have just beaten Rajasthan Royals and they'll be taking on the Kolkata Knight Riders in the final of the tournament. Pat Cummins has done it again and he has led his team to another final of another major tournament, and this just seems a routine for him now. I think leading his team and performing to take his team to the final, and let's see if he can win that this time. But solid competition, two top teams who have pretty much dominated throughout the tournament, and they are also the top two teams in the league stages. We have also seen how, through statistics, the second place team in the table has gone on to win the IPL. I think some eight number of times. So that's a good stat to have on your side, Pat. But yeah, a lot of things are coming back. The script is finally scripting. Pat Cummins returns to his former team, facing his former team, but captaining the Sunrisers Hyderabad this time. Rahul Tripathi, if you remember back in the day in 2021, he actually went on to defeat Delhi Capitals and take KKR to the final. And today, according to me, he did that same role with Sunrisers Hyderabad and he took them to the final. So yeah, it's like life comes full circle, and there will be a lot of matchups that will be there in that final. But let's jump to this match, how it turned out. There are a lot of important takeaways that one can do from this match, not just about both the teams, but how we look at the bigger picture. And by bigger picture, I mean the upcoming T20 World Cup, both for India and for the other teams. So let's start with the batting of SRH and how the first innings rather turned out to be. I think it was a good decision for Travis Head to just take it a little slow, because he was coming at the back of two consecutive ducks, and to play in second gear and letting Abhishek take that risk, which he always does, play with that fluidity, with that momentum. I think Abhishek just continued to do that while Head just took a step back. But at the same time, if you saw Abhishek live by the sword and die by it, so you can't do that continuously against a bowler who is of the caliber of Trent Bolt. So he got dismissed on the last ball of that first over. But then what Rahul Tripathi did was unbelievable. I mean, I already mentioned, I think that was the game-changing moment for me, because he provided that momentum to the team. He allowed Travis Head to take his time and settle down. Although I think SRH felt a certain way that they didn't score. I think I remember Trent Bolt saying that this was a good score to hold them back. I think it was. Honestly, the RR bowlers did a great job. Trent Bolt, Avesh Khan, and the spinners also did a good job. But where they lacked is, I'll say, for Rajasthan, they had their moments in the game, but they missed that opportunity to choke the opposition when they had those moments. So, for example, when they allowed Shabazz to take on the spinners and score those extra 10-15 runs at the end, that costed them a lot. Similarly, if you saw with Kohler coming into bat and just not finding his rhythm, then he should have gone all out and gone bonkers. If it hit, then hit. Then if it didn't, then it didn't. So, but it didn't happen that way, and you saw that impact on Sanju too when he came. On Jaiswal, more importantly, I mean, obviously Jaiswal played a brilliant innings. But then it all trickled down to him taking all the responsibility on his own and trying to finish the game off, which was not possible, especially with the spinners coming in after the power play. So yeah, again, great captaincy by Pat. When the spinners started doing their thing, Pat never looked back. He just let the spinners do what they were doing. He brought in Markram too, because Abhishek and Shabazz were bowling really good. But to make Markram also come in between and bowl those 1-2 overs, especially if you had bowlers like Natarajan, you were playing a specialist in Unadkat today. He also had overs left for himself. But then just to have that mindfulness, that presence on the field to take those decisions is great. It takes courage, because the spinners delivered wickets, but end of the day, a Shimran Hetmeyer or a Sanju Samson, who are very good players against spin, can take down your spinners also. So that extra courage is always needed, especially in a format like T20, where you have to take that risk. But Pat did it successfully and it paid off. So I don't know what it will be, but let's see if they can go all the way, because this aggressive style that SRH have had in their um, play style this year has been outstanding. I mean, what are we looking at? This is a team which many can say they have exploited the impact rule, but the impact rule was applicable for every team. This is something that both the teams, in fact, KKR and SRH, both have exploited the impact rule and used that to exploit the power play, I'll say, to the fullest, even like if more to the fullest. So they deserve playing that final and making it through to that final. But let's see how things turn out. Just a few things that I like to take up in this analysis. I was pretty disappointed by that Jaiswal dismissal. I don't know why he played that shot, because in that previous over it seemed like he got a small cramp, so maybe that led to taking that risk. I don't know, just speculation. But then again, I felt it like Jaiswal had a perfect opportunity today to just prove to the Indian selectors, the fans, and everyone that he can play a clutch innings in a knockout match, and he could have cemented that position for himself as an opener in the playing 11. So, and I was really looking forward to that, because obviously how the performances of Kohli have been in this IPL, everyone would expect Kohli to open the innings with Rohit, and Rohit is obviously the captain. So you expect these kind of things, but then if you have a match winner like a Jaiswal, then Kohli could have come at number 3. So I don't know how things will be at the World Cup, but that innings of 42 or 43 runs wasn't less special. It was very good, and I think it provided a good base to the middle order batsmen, which they just weren't able to take today. So yeah, that's it. I think apart from that, the positives from the national side, India going into the World Cup, I don't think there are many. Yuzi Chahal again. Because if you are looking to play two spinners in those conditions, it can be a Kuldeep and a Jaddu. But if you are trying to include Chahal in that playing 11, then you are looking at him as a wicket taking option. And somehow down the line, I feel, especially in the second half of the season, he has made that comeback, but he has gone for a lot of runs. And yeah, nobody can deny or oversee that fact of leaking those many runs in the 4 overs quota, especially if you cannot bring so much impact with the bat. So yeah, things don't look so good for the Indian team. But what about the Australian team? I mean, all the players are just stepping up before the World Cup. For the players who aren't, like Maxwell, I'll say they're just saving up for the World Cup. I don't know, because the kind of shot that Maxwell played was just blatant, and that kind of shot I don't think he'll ever play for Australia. Like, for anyone who saw that 200 against Afghanistan, dude was just standing on one leg and decided to end the hopes of everyone from Afghanistan and everyone who is following that game. who were expecting an upset, but that didn't happen obviously. But yeah, I'll say Australia again are favorites going into this T20 World Cup. Two other sides that I'm looking very keenly at their performances, how that turns out to be, is England and West Indies. So yeah, let's see how things turn out. But for now, we have the final on Sunday, same time, and we'll be obviously doing the post-match analysis like we're doing now. Lots of things, lots of script. Will KKR finally be able to take the revenge of India from Pat Cummins through a Mitchell Stark? I don't know. There are a lot of things. There's head. There's a lot of things going on, but the only thing that I don't know, KKR fans and Indian fans will be looking at is the combination of Gauti and Shreyas, because they have been exceptional this season. And with no disrespect to other players or other franchises, I think they have stood out as a coach and captain duo in this season. And for SRH also, if you see, Pat Cummins and Vettori did work for Australia in the past. But for Shreyas and Gambhir, who have again worked previously for Delhi, so you see that level of communication and that balance coming in handy, and that ultimately paid off for both the teams. So it's going to be a very intense battle. KKR has some advantage in the spin department through the likes of Nareen and Chakravarti. You have to see if they play Suyash or an Anukul Roy maybe. But today we saw that the SRH unit isn't capable of anything less, because Abhishek Sharma, Shahbaz Ahmed, Mark Ram, these are all quality spinners themselves. Maybe through the impact sub rule, these players didn't get as many bowling chances as they should have throughout this tournament, but they are quality bowlers nonetheless, and they can take wickets, and they showed that today with favorable conditions. And I think Chepauk is a very, very neutral pitch, because in the previous match I mentioned that I'm not such a big fan of the Ahmedabad pitch, because the dew factor comes in very heavy in the second innings, and it's kind of a anomaly to injustice to any team who's chasing batting second. So, but today we saw that the dew factor at the Chepauk and otherwise also, they were playing with a much triggered dimension, because the shortest boundary was I think 55 meter, and the longest boundary was 78 meter, and still we witnessed a fairly low scoring game according to the standards of this IPL. So the Chepauk pitch turned out to play very good, and hopefully it will stay the same way for the final, and we can have a thrilling final. And by thrilling, I don't mean a high scoring final, I mean a competitive final where both the teams take it down till the wire, and hopefully the script lives up to the expectations, man. I just don't know. But I'll tell you myself, I'm a KKR fan, I'm from Kolkata, so there will be a level of bias that I am operating at, there's no denying that. But you have to also look at the bigger picture. Pat was a part of our team, so was Rahul Tripathi, and there were a lot of others. So again, there's a soft spot for all of them, and SRH are truly deserving to make it through to that final. So it will be a battle of equals in my opinion, and it will be a worthy final. Two giants will take on each other, not just the captains or the coaches, but two giant proper teams who have dominated through the course of this IPL, and they deserve to fight it out in that final. So let's see what happens. Drop in your predictions, and we'll be back for the final at 26th May this time. Bye bye.